Hello everybody and welcome back to the Woodcrafts by Design shop. I'm Joshua Iverson. Today is Monday, March 13th, 2017, and this is my weekly video log series, a look at what goes on down here in the shop. Now this past week nothing much happened in the shop until later in the week. Monday I wound up spending the afternoon working on my inventory for the end of the year, trying to get things wrapped up so I can get all my business tax paperwork figured out so we can file our income taxes so we're not doing it last minute. So that was Monday afternoon. Monday evening, a friend of mine stopped by. I told you last vlog that I'd made those starboards for him, and he came Monday evening to pick those up. And while he was here, he decided that he wanted to take the rest of my aromatic cedar pile that I have back here on the rack. So completely wiped me out. Which is okay. I mean, that's why I'm here. You know, if he needs another piece, it's here. You know, that's why I got it. So, you know, I mostly have the aromatic cedar to have just on hand because I enjoy working with it. And if there's a project that comes up and I can use it, and I want to use it, it's there. But he wiped me out. So, that was Monday. Tuesday, I wound up working completely on inventory stuff, trying to get things finalized, and got my taxes somewhat done and filed. So got that taken care of. And then on Wednesday, I took a little field trip. I went to Mars. Yep. Around here in Pennsylvania, about an hour and 15 minutes away, there's a place called Mars, Pennsylvania. And it's home to a little lumber company called Mars Lumber. And they specialize in domestic and exotic hardwoods. While I was there, I picked up 60 more board feet of aromatic cedar from Mars Lumber. 20 of that I actually turned around and wound up selling back to my friend because he wanted even more. I guess he's just cranking right through the stuff as he's buying it. So I have about 40 board feet left for me to have on hand. If he needs more, I got it, so it's not a big deal. So that was it's a fun place to go. It's kind of neat. They've got everything you can think of. I mean, they've got all these exotics sitting there. They've got all these domestics sitting there, even more than the domestics you can get even through like my suppliers that I get a lot of my domestic hardwoods from. They don't care, you know, they don't carry all of them, whereas Mars Lumber carries things like cypress, you know, other domestics that my main wood suppliers don't. So it's kind of a neat place to go and check out if you're in the area. Now Thursday, I was getting my delivery in for this walnut countertop I need to build. Now, I'm not sure when my delivery actually comes because it comes anywhere from like 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. So I was up in the office in the morning working on some more lovely paperwork when my delivery came, which luckily was about 10 o'clock. And as soon as he came, got my materials. It wasn't a large load. It was just the stuff to make this countertop pretty much. And started laying out and getting my pieces cut because it's going to be a lot of milling for this countertop to be done. So I got two pretty good sized 8/4 hit and miss solid walnut boards, which was about 20 board feet. So that's what I ordered. Out of what that 20 board feet, this is really the only major piece that was left, and it had a couple of knots in it, the only knots in the whole thing. So that's about all I have left of that 20 board feet. But I got started. It's an odd shaped countertop. Basically replacing a laminate top that was custom made for this space. The homeowner is replacing all the rest of their countertops in the kitchen with granite or quartz, something like that. And they wanted this one particular like breakfast bar top thing to be a solid wood thing. So started off by getting all the pieces cut to approximate, you know, size that I need, ripped them down to glue them all back together in a different orientation to kind of reduce the chance of warping. Got that all done, milled them down to, you know, flattened them on the joiner, ran them to the planer, got them down to about the same, all to the same thickness, then took the three main long pieces of this countertop and glued them together. Now I did that on Thursday, so after that was done, I wound up going upstairs and working on some more paperwork because I wanted to let the glue have time to set and properly dry. So I let that sit. Basically, I pulled it out of the clamps later that afternoon, evening, scraped the glue off the surface, and let it sit overnight. Now, I let my glue panels like that, I make sure I let them sit at least 24 hours to make sure the glue is good and cured. The thing you don't, if you don't do that, you can wind up with glue lines in your glued up panels, whether it's 2 inches thick or 3/4 inches thick for like a raised door panel for a kitchen door. I see so many woodworkers like on YouTube and stuff. They do things. They glue up their panels and then they basically wait a half hour, an hour, and then they pull it out of clamps and then they just start milling it like it's just done, and it's not. The thing about it is when you apply the glue, it actually soaks into the wood fibers a little bit and causes them to swell because you're adding moisture to the wood. Now when that board swells, it swells a little bit. You clamp it together, the glue does its job, grabs, but if you don't let it unswell, basically let the glue dry and the moisture go away and don't let it go back to its original shape, you're going to wind up with recessed areas because if you mill it flat while the glue is still semi-wet and not cured, what'll happen is you'll mill it flat, and as the glue shrinks, it'll actually cause a little dip in your panel. And that's why you can see visible glue lines on panels that haven't properly cured before they were milled. So I let that countertop sit all night before I milled it up again. Now the 3 big pieces I glued up because I can run that width through my planer. I can't run the whole top through it. So after those 3 were properly glued and dried 24 hours, I basically took it, ran it through my planer along with the 4th piece that needed to be added to it to get them down to a more workable thickness. The countertop itself I'm shooting for about 1 3/8 inches heavy. So I milled all the pieces, the 3 that are glued and the extra piece down to about 1.5 inches, basically taking about 1/4 inch off the total thickness of the top. So that way, because I can't, I can do that on the drum sander, but it just would take forever. So got them all down to 1.5 inches. Glued that final piece on, let that sit overnight. And then the next day I pulled it out of clamp, scraped the glue off that was skimmed over, and basically I let it sit all weekend long. So it should be completely cured. Any swelling or shrinking should have happened, any deformation. So now this week I'm going to be running it through the drum sander to take it down to final thickness and do all my final milling on the top, routing, sanding, all that lovely stuff to get it finished. So hopefully by early next week, I can contact the customer and say, hey, I have it done, I can get it installed. So that was Thursday and Friday. Now Friday, I had a little extra time after I'd gotten the final piece out, the whole big thing glued together, and I took the time to make a crosscut sled for my table saw. It's something I've been meaning to do for quite a long time, something that's well used in the shop if you need it. My intention is to use it like on kitchen doors after they've glued up and they're oversized intentionally, so that way they can be squared up. If you have to make any minor adjustments, you can do that. So that's what I needed the sled for, and I figured why not make it and use it on the countertop, because I'm going to need to cut the ends off. Now I have a Festool track saw, and it's a great thing, but it needs a new blade, or the blade on it needs sharpened. So I think I'm better off just using the table saw crosscut sled. Plus it'll give me a perfect 90 degrees. Sorry about that, telephone rang. Before I close out this video log, I wanted to do something I don't normally do, and that's open a package that I received this morning, and kind of a little unboxing here, but as you can see, it's from Woodpeckers. So let me get the camera set up to do this. Now I already know what's inside the box, but I wanted to open it up on camera just because I wanted to show a couple of things that I really like about Woodpeckers. The first thing being that when they send something to you, they really send it to you in a proper box. I mean, honestly, these people care about their product. They care about their precision. They care about making sure it gets to you in one piece, doesn't get damaged along the road. And every single thing I've ordered from Woodpeckers has always come in a nice, very sturdy box. Plenty of packaging, plenty of protectant around the item. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up so you can see what's inside. magazine, invoice, packaging. Nice case that probably will just wind up getting thrown away anyway. But what we have in here is one of their one-time tools that they just started shipping out, and it's their 6-inch stainless steel square. Now, one thing I absolutely love about the Woodpecker tooling is just, their eye for detail, their quality of their product. Like I said, this is one of their one-time tools. They won't be making this again for a while unless they have enough interest. So I've been needing a 6-inch square for a while now that was much better than the crappy aluminum one I got years and years and years and years ago. So the thing I have to say about Woodpecker's tools is, yes, they are expensive, but in the eye of the beholder, like me, I find that the precision is worth the money. Not many people, not everybody can justify spending the kind of money on proper, precise equipment, and you have to judge what equipment that would be in your line of profession. And now doing cabinetry and fine woodworking and stuff like that, precision is kind of key when you're marking out, laying out lines, doing proper woodworking. Yeah, you can get by with, lesser tools. You can go buy that $10, 6-inch square from Lowe's or Home Depot and get it by just fine. But I find that, it's the same thing with the rest of the shop. If the shop isn't filled with things that you enjoy, you don't want to spend time out there. If your shop is constantly a cluttered, disgusting mess, there's stuff piled everywhere and you can't get anything done without moving a pile from one place to another, you don't want to be out there. You don't want to do what you're doing. So, spending the money on extra precise tooling kind of makes it more fun for me to be out here. I enjoy what I do, and it helps create an atmosphere that I enjoy working in, where I know, because I tend to be kind of a perfectionist. So if I have that kind of tooling that lets me do things in a more precise way, in my mind, it lets me enjoy what I do even more. So just a quick unboxing of the latest one-time tool from Woodpeckers. They just shipped out. So if you're interested in something like this, go check out Woodpeckers. I'm not affiliated with them. They don't pay me for this. But check it out. Sometimes, the tooling is worth it, sometimes. So, it might be worth a look. And if something like this actually interests you, you can get on their mailing list and they'll email you every time they come out with one of these one-time tools that they make in their own shop in Ohio. So that beats that. Well, that's all I have for this past week. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. If you like this series or any of the other series that I have on this channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when I post new videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below. I will try to get to those. And until next week, keep making sawdust, and I'll see you then. Bye.